This is closing of day 5.
Welcome back, my friends. This is a little sad because this is our last ending for the week, and it's been a great week. And as I said at the beginning of our time together today, I hope it's been a good week for you too. This Compassion Camp. And on behalf of all my friends here and all my friends that you've seen on video, singing with us and sharing with us, we know that you were loved, and we look forward to being together again another time. So we've learned so much about compassion together, haven't we? I know we've learned so much together. We have learned that compassion begins with seeing, with feeling, and with welcoming. We talked about how compassion helps us be brave, and how it's important to love and care for ourselves. And last time, we talked about how it helps to be open to people we encounter along the way and to trust God to lead us. Our last theme of Compassion Camp taught us how compassion gives us fresh starts through the wonderful tradition of Jubilee. Jubilee, or a fresh start, helps us see, feel, and trust that in God's abundance. That means there's enough for everyone. And that's all God's abundance is meant for all people and for all creation. When we make space for rest and gather together at the table and care for those who need the help most, we show God's compassion. So some things to think about together. Why are fresh starts so important? Think about that. Why do you think it's important to rest? I know I like resting, but God also tells us it's important for our bodies, for our minds, and for our souls to rest. Why do you think it's important to celebrate? I like birthday parties when we celebrate. But why is that so important as a human being? And what do we celebrate? I said birthdays, anniversaries. Today happens to, as we're filming this, today is my and Shelley and my 37th wedding anniversary. That's a celebration. We celebrate getting good grades, or winning a race. Maybe we even celebrate reading a book because we want to share it with somebody, so we talk about it. That's a way of celebrating. There's lots of ways to celebrating. It's the way God has made us, to be excited and happy and find joy in creation and in our lives. And how does this all help us share God's compassion? I know for me, I know how good it is to rest and to be refreshed, but also how fun it is to celebrate things and to find joy. So when I'm being compassionate and I see somebody that isn't having that joy in their life, and I can feel that they're feeling kind of overwhelmed and maybe sad, I can remember what it's like to find rest and a fresh start, and what it's like to celebrate and have joy. And I can be brave through God's help to try to help them, those other people, find that joy and find that rest. That's what works for me. So, we're going to sing our compassion song one more time, and then we're going to come back and do our final wrap-up. See you in a minute. Welcome back. My friends, God's compassion is God's justice. That means doing what's right for everybody. And working for God's justice, making things right, releases God's abundance. That means there's enough for everyone into the world. And making sure that everyone has what they need. That's a long process, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming, but it's part of being compassionate, and we do it each and every day. When we rest and we help people and the land even to rest, we show God's justice. When we gather together at the table in joy, we show God's justice. When we care for those who need help most, we show God's justice. Justice makes things right. It's what happens when we are compassionate. There are ways we show compassion: seeing and welcoming, being brave and standing up for someone or something, loving ourselves, being present with another person, and rest and fresh starts. All of those things we've talked about this week as part of God's compassion for you, for me, and for everybody, and even the world, the creation. When we do these things, we show God's love and God's justice in the world. So we end our week with our compassion prayer. Our last one, with hand on their head, because this is where it begins, hand on our heart, because this is how we feel. Repeat after me, please. Joyful Spirit, your loving hands are always creating freedom, release, and fresh starts. Help us do the same today by caring for all living things with gentleness and care. Open us to humbly receive that same care ourselves. Make our hearts smile and our actions sing with your promise of abundance toward the whole world. Amen. That's Compassion Camp. We hope this has been a good time for you. I miss you all, and we love you all, and may we remain compassionate in God's care.